is for sure something I'm doing on my shaman. Thought about going tailoring. So if I go tailoring, I could go ahead and get the cloth now. Just a thought.
Yeah, so I got my steal going on Dungeons Dreadmore. I managed to steal from two shops, and it works just like the internet said it did. Uh, Basically, you have a move in mysterious ways is the last thing you get in burglary, and
That's the teleport thing, right?
yeah, it allows you to teleport. And what you do is you teleport out of the shop, and then you don't move, and you wait for your teleport to come back, and then you just keep teleporting until you get to the downstairs.
Okay.
And then when you get to downstairs, you just jump down, and it'll say, "Oh my God, you stole! Oh my God!" But then you're out of the dungeon.
Yeah, so doesn't matter.
Off that level, so it doesn't matter.
That's pretty cool.
I got some pretty good items too.
I guess I could do an inventory on my rogue. See where I'm at. See where I'm at for gear. I don't know how I feel about that goofy private server, man. Because it doesn't feel right.
You shouldn't feel good about it at all because it's a private server. You want to play on a real server.
Well, if I could play the Burning Crusade right now, I would play on a real server.
Dude, I don't understand why you have to play Burning Crusade right now.
Well, because there's nothing else to do.
Man,
I'd rather just burn a hole in my pocket because there's just nothing to do.
Hey, have you got your speed run for Dungeons Dreadmore up? Hey,
It's alright, man.
Need to work on that.
Yeah, I'm not paying for that game. Yeah, I'm paying for this one. Feel like I should be playing it.
That's one of the bad things about World of Warcraft is you feel guilty when you buy another game because you're playing another game during time you could be playing Warcraft, and you feel like you're losing money.
Absolutely. I sure do.
Hey, but you can't feel that way.
But I do. Man, I just feel dirty if I play a different game. Yeah, because I could be getting cloth for my shaman when I get to level 60, man. That's something I could do right now. And when the pre-patch comes out, I'm going to want to level my shaman, so I won't be able to do it then.
Critical hits.
That's if I want to go tailoring.
Critical hits.
I was debating that, actually. I think it's probably a good idea. I think I'm going to let dual crafting go for now. And I think I will go tailoring on my dude.
Which dude you going to tailor on?
It's going to be on my shaman. So I'm going to go tailoring. Yeah. I'll go tailoring, and I think I'm going to go leatherworking.
You're not going to go jewel crafting?
So I want to go jewel crafting on my shaman, but the problem is there's a piece of gear that I'm going to end up making on my shaman for tailoring purposes, and it's good. Now, so here's the problem. It's not on equip, so that means I could make it on another character, and then I could give it to my shaman, so that's okay. But the problem with doing that is there's a set bonus that I miss out on, and the set bonus is really good, and I'm going to be using that set for a long time. So I kind of feel like I'm not getting my full potential out of that set if I don't have the set bonus.
Now, how do you lose the set bonus because you didn't make it? Is that like a special thing or something?
No, it's what's that set you guys use now? in Zul'Gurub.
Oh, Bloodvine.
Yeah, it's the same thing with the Bloodvine. So the set bonus is only for people that have 350 tailoring.
Oh, so I didn't know that. I mean, I had the tailoring anyway, but I didn't know that the set bonus was like exclusive for if you had the tailoring.
Yeah, so if you look at it, if you look at the like Bloodvine set, it's in, where is it at?
Critical hits.
Zul'Gurub. So if you look at the Bloodvine set
Critical hits.
really closely,
Critical hits.
I find it, God. Tailoring. Chest. Okay. Bloodvine vest. If you look really closely, it says Bloodvine garb 0-3. Requires tailoring 300. Bloodvine vest, legs, and boots. 3 set improves your chance to get a critical with spells of 2%. So if you read it really closely, it actually does say that you have to have 300 in tailoring to get that set bonus. Now you can still use it without 300 in tailoring, you just won't get the set bonus.
Yeah, but the set bonus is the whole thing.
Well, it's really good. It's 2% spell crit. I mean, I think the reason why you do Bloodvine is for the spell hit rating, right? Isn't that like what people are after?
Oh, well, you get some hit rating for the set bonus too. I think you do.
You do.
Okay, well maybe I'm wrong then, but I don't know.
It just says spell chance 2%.
Okay.
Spell crit. But yeah, I mean the point is you want to be tailoring because it's 2% spell crit. I mean you're giving up a lot if you don't have that, especially since you're going to want it. Well, rather you're going to use it. That's the words I'm looking for. You're going to use it. So it wouldn't be that big of a deal if you weren't going to use the, like say you were making it and you were going to use it for a little while, then you was going to replace it, then okay, that's fine. You could probably get by without having the set bonus. But since I'm planning on making that, and I'm going to use it probably until we're in tier 6, just because of how good it is.
Okay.
Well, and you will too, assuming you get it made at some point.
What is it now?
Spell Strike Head.
Oh,
and,
yeah,
Spell
Spell
Legs.
Strike, yeah.
It's really good, and I'm assuming you'll be using it until... I don't know how it works for mages. I don't know how you guys operate in TBC, but at least for Elemental Shaman, it's better than anything you can get in tier 4. It's as good as the stuff you can get in tier 5, and you don't get like an honest to god replacement until you're in tier 6. So you could debate whether or not you upgrade it in tier 5. I guess it depends on if we get a lot of tokens or whatever, then maybe I'll upgrade it. But otherwise, I could use that in tier 4 all the way through tier 5 and into tier 6 when I start getting stuff that way.
Gotcha.
And that is a hell of an investment because, if it goes anything like it did in Classic, it'll take like a year before we get like some of the like Black Temple and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
if Blizzard does that, then it's going to take like a freaking year. So if that's the case, then yeah, hell yeah, you want to get the Spell Strike set, absolutely, because you're just going to be using it for so long. Why not? I mean, you could like gimp yourself by not taking it, but I mean, why would you? Especially because it's like BOEs, so I mean, you can even buy it off the auction house if you don't want to be a tailor. Though I would
But you
argue
won't get
that
the
you
set
at least,
bonus.
yeah, you won't get the set bonus, and I mean, if you plan on using it for that long, you probably want the set bonus. Otherwise, you're just losing out on DPS.
Critical hits.
So
So I guess you're stuck with tailoring.
yeah, I think I'm gonna be stuck with tailoring for a while. So I might do jewel crafting on somebody else, or I mean I guess I could like keep tailoring for a while, then maybe drop it at some point. I mean I'm not usually the one to drop professions, but I mean I guess you
Yeah,
could
dropping
like
professions is costly.
yeah. Well, so I'm thinking who would I give jewel crafting to if not my shaman?
What about your warrior? Don't warriors eventually get a good? Warriors eventually get a good bonus with like jewel crafting, don't they? Don't they eventually get like a bonus, or they get like a bonus? You get like a bonus like slot or something. You get bonus something.
I think that's in Wrath for like blacksmithing, but I think jewel crafting, they get the special jewel crafters gems, I believe. They did this in Wrath of the Lich King. I think they did it in the Burning Crusade as well. Don't quote me on it. But they have these special gems they can get that are only for jewel crafters, and you can only have like 1 or 2 of them. Like you can only have like a few of them. You can't have very many, and they're better than all the other gems. And that's like the stipulation is you can only have so many. What now?
I didn't even know about that.
Oh, yeah, those are... I remember it was a thing in Wrath, and I'm pretty sure it was a thing in the Burning Crusade, but I'm not sure on that one. Because that was when jewel crafting was first like established, so they might not have done that. And what they did in Wrath, I remember, was they went back and changed the old ones to give like stat bonuses. So like blacksmiths, they could do something that like would give them a gem socket on a piece of gear.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Like a belt buckle or something like that. So that gave them like another like socket on their belt. So that was something they did in Wrath, but I don't think it was that way in the Burning Crusade. But you are right, like eventually blacksmithing like becomes pretty good. Well, I've got a lot invested on my warrior. I did engineering and jewel crafting on him because it, or not jewel crafting, engineering and blacksmithing. As at one point I was going to actually like, you know, doing through dungeons and like, you know, try to do it the right way. Kind of ended up falling apart, but I did get those professions up, so I don't want to screw with him. I thought about my warlock, so I've got herbalism and mining on my warlock, so I could drop one of those. Not sure which one, but I could potentially drop one of those and get jewel crafting instead. And that's if I want to actually do jewel crafting. I mean, there isn't really anything that requires me to. The jewel crafter gems would be good, but I mean, the gear that I can make with tailoring and leatherworking is also going to be really good. So, if it's like a moot point there. Yeah, the good news is I have like a lot of mage weave. So, man, mage weave is not a concern for me. I just keep finding it. God. I've got a little bit of room cloth. I'm gonna need a lot of silk. I remember silk is like a big deal for tailoring. God, that's more mage weave. So, no mage weave. Wow. I've almost got 1,000 mage weave.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. I've just been like keeping it. Remember I told you I did like leveling on my warrior? So I did those ogres over there a lot because they're easy to grind on. And it shows because I've got like almost 1,000 mage weave. Crazy. 7. That's D32. 2, 4. More mage wave. I'm just gonna put 1,000 plus. I'm not even gonna count it anymore. A lot. Reminds me of this Saga games where like once you were killing creatures that were like 4 9s, like at the end of the fight it would like calculate how much money you got and it would just like spin, then it would stop and just say a lot.
Yeah, that was
It's pretty funny. Like spin for 5 minutes and then finally just stop counting and be like, a lot. Alright, let's just say that. Like, and you got a lot. 244 rune cloth. Ooh, I've got some more rune cloth. 360. More mage wave. Awesome. 359. Okay. So that's my inventory. Let me look up a tailoring guide.
Critical hits. Critical hits.
Okay. According to this, I'm gonna need 500 mage weave. Got that covered. 760 silk. Yeah, I know it. It's gonna take 750 rune cloth. Wow. Okay. 30 rugged. So 160 linen, 200 wool, 760 silk. So linen and wool. What's the easiest way?
Critical hits.
About 200. Probably just run dead mines. Paladin doesn't have inventories. See what it could do though. I could take all those consumables and send them to another character.
So I got Mom her COVID shot today.
Oh yeah?
And she's officially
I'm glad they finally gave it to
what do you call it when you get a shot?
Vaccinated.
Vaccinated. She's officially vaccinated.
Cool.
She has to go
That's
back and
good
get
to know,
another
man.
one though. It was the 2-shotter.
Yeah, I heard something that they were, something like they had, another company had made one. I think it was like Johnson & Johnson. They had made a COVID shot and they were trying to get it approved, and they were going to let anybody like get the shot now. Like previously they had just only give it to like old people and people that were at risk, like, you know, healthcare workers, stuff like that. At least here in Florida, they're going to allow anybody to get it, I think. I think so.
We had a tough time getting it.
Yeah, don't hold me to that.
You had to call up to the health department and make an appointment, and the health department had they was already backed up so hard that they wasn't even taking phone calls. It would say leave a message and we'll get back with you an appointment, and then it would say mailbox full.
Yeah, I remember you told me that. Like, it would go to your voicemail, and then it would say, okay, mailbox is full.
And Mom just called the health department every single day till she finally got somebody on the line. And when she got them on the line, she said, "Oh my God, I'm 89. I'm 89 years old. I gotta have my shot.
I demand it, yeah. I demand you give me a shot, man. And when are we doing this?"
And I told her to come in the next day.
Yeah, that's fine.
I guess they had a cancellation or something. I don't know. And it was pretty cool, man. When we got there, I'd forgot my phone. They was going to have me sit in the registration area, and then they was going to call me. And I went back and told them I forgot my phone, and that's all right, no problem. And they told me to pull over to a regular parking space, and then they come over and said, "Well, you can go on in." And then Mom got out and started wobbling around, and they said, "Oh, well, wait a minute, just get back in the car. We'll have them give you a shot in the car." So we pulled up to the door, and they came out the door, and they gave her the shot while she sat in the passenger seat. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Neat. Yeah, just drive by shot. Huh. Yeah, I guess it's just like getting a flu shot, right? Like, it's just they clean off a spot and then they just go for it with the needle, right? Like, there's really nothing spectacular about it.
She had to sign 1,500 papers.
Oh, well, there's that, of course. And this shot will probably kill you and all kinds of stuff like that.
They wanted us to wait 15 minutes to see what happened. And we didn't have time. We had to get to a doctor appointment. So I told them, I said, "Well, we're going on to another doctor. So if something bad happens, we'll be at a doctor."
There you go. It's pretty funny that part of taking the shot is you're supposed to wait 15 minutes after the shot to make sure that there's no adverse effects. Wow, sounds like they really trust that shot, huh? Let's see what I can do in Dead Mines here. So I think I should be able to pull the whole dungeon on my paladin, but I'm gonna find out.
Critical hits.
Because I remember that was my go-to place to get linen and wool both is Dead Mines.
Oh yeah.
Because the stuff in Dead Mines is about the correct level to get both. You want something that's in their 20s, that will give you linen and wool both. Actually, stocks might be a better idea.
Stocks is probably a little bit higher than Dead Mines.
Yeah, you know what? Stocks is probably a better play. Let me go back to Stormwood. I'll probably get more linen than I will wool here. And I remember wool is always hard to get. So that might actually be the better idea, is just to run stocks a few times. Oh yeah, and I'll be right by a vendor too. Alright, yeah, we're doing that. Yeah, we're totally doing that. Yeah, I changed my mind. We're gonna do stocks instead. And I'll probably need to run Scarlet Monastery for the silk. That's gonna be a bitch though. I might go for the ogres. That might be a better idea on my rogue. Ah man, Should I go back to combat?
Hell, I think I know where the monster zoo's at. And I haven't hit the monster zoo yet. There's only like one spot that it could be.
I'm thinking about.
Critical hits. Critical hits.
Stocks is a really easy place to get one. That'll be a good one. Yeah, that is the place there. The problem with Scarlet Monastery is there isn't really any mailboxes or anything close by.
It's in like enemy territory.
Yeah, that's the problem. I wonder if it would be worth going to All-Track Mountains, because there's some ogres that I love to kill over in All-Track Mountains, and they drop silk, and I grinded on them for like until they turned gray when I leveled up my rogue.
Got you.
And that would be like a good pick. As long as there's not too many people over there.
Big money. Not yet. I know I got a monster room coming up.
I might open world that one. I might be able to pull that off.
Well, something's wrong here. I didn't get my monster zoo. And I don't see any place else to go. You get a monster zoo every level.
Okay then.
So, I think sometimes it messes up when it generates the level and it generates like an area you can't get to.
Oh. Yeah, that would be a problem. If like it can screw up that way.
I
like,
noticed that it's done that before where I had to actually go use my moving mysterious ways to teleport to get to like a certain area. And I think it does it sometimes when you can't see that it does it. Because I can't see. It looks like the level should be bigger, but... Well, let's see here. I got a quest. No? Did I not take the quest from her? Oh, I just didn't take it. It's available.
And I'm gonna need a lot of room cloth too, so I wonder if that's better on my rogue or my warrior. Well, my warrior is scary as shit. Probably better on my rogue.
I think I see where I can go. Maybe.
Maybe. Let's see how much stocks I can actually get here. My correct gear on. What with her sanctuary, and sanctuary is what makes all of this possible, man. Yeah, I dedicate this room to blessing the sanctuary.
Gotcha.
And without blessing the sanctuary, I wouldn't be able to do this.
Is that the thing that gives you the like health back every time you attack?
No, it's actually even better. It reduces all of the damage I take by like 25 points.
Oh, okay.
Critical hits.
I got you.
And it makes it really good because, like, you know, I'm fighting stuff that's like low level in here,
So it
and
might only be doing like 26, 27 points.
yeah, like 30 damage. Like they might do 30 damage tops. And so the fact that, like, you know, they're hardly doing damage to begin with means that, like, it'll practically reduce all the damage that I take. On top of that, like, the even better play is the fact that, like, I pull like 1,001 creatures. And so the fact that I pull that many creatures, they all like get affected by it. The fact that I take reduced damage, like it happens no matter how many creatures I pull, it affects all of them the same. That's the point. That's the words I'm trying to say here.
I don't know where the rest of the dungeon's at. It's like messed up or something.
Critical hits.
And I'm not even like spec'd in protection. I'm just spec'd like into holy for the most part. I've got like a few points in protection that are like some really good talents. But I just pulled the entire first like section in one pull.
Gotcha.
I had to heal myself, and it was like actually getting pretty tight, but I was able to do it. Now what I should do was use Retribution Aura, which I forgot.
Yeah, I need to get my perception up.
Hey, I can even get some greens in here. Maybe I'll get a green that's pretty decent. I can give it to my shaman.
Critical hits.
Hey, I got some silk.
Critical hits.
I think it's rare that you get silk. Oh, that is some good leather right there.
We're still in that shop. Maybe there'll be another one.
Yeah, Retribution is the other thing. But I have so many different things that like does damage to like the creatures that are attacking me. It's like really funny.
Critical hits. Critical hits.
There's a trinket that like you can get in TVC. I can't get it right now because it's not available yet.
Yeah.
But what it does is it makes it so it's a trinket that you pop. It gives you like a lot of shield block rating, which is cool. When you pop the trinket, what it does is it makes it to where whenever you block an attack for the next 20 seconds, it heals you for like 100. So it's pretty cool. You know, you get like a little bit of healing whenever you block an attack, but you're thinking, well, it's just 100. How could that like be, you know, a great thing? And well, and I'll tell you how it could be a great thing. And if you got like 1,000 creatures on you, now you're gonna block a lot of attacks.
Oh, I got you.
And every time you block, you get 100 healing. So like, if I've got 1,000 creatures on me, like basically like one of the things that you can do in TBC is like a protection paladin, is you can do what I do. You can just pull like an entire room, and you can just keep pulling until you basically almost die. Then you just pop that trinket, turn around, and then you just get healed to full health. Because you just start like healing every time you block. Yeah, you're getting hit so many times that like you're gonna gain like health back, and like 100 health is a lot more than they're doing damage to me. I'll just tell you that right now. And yeah, that's what you would do. Is you just get like all your health back. Like you turn around and just slide, bam, all your health back done, and then you just keep pulling more.
Critical hits. Critical hits. Critical hits.
Basil thread. See how much cloth I got out of doing this, and then I guess we could talk about whether or not it's like useful. I think this is a good light way to get cloth.
Kill a dragon. Let's summon another one.
Critical hits. Critical hits.
Okay. Let's do the other side.
Critical hits. Critical hits. Critical hits.
Man, must have some people like really trying to like try hard tonight. There's another like head going on.
I think that's what it is. Think it's guilds that like are having a double buff.
Yeah, I think so. I think it has to be. Otherwise, I mean, why would you like do like a net head, then do 5 minutes later do like another one, then 5 minutes later do another one, and do another one, and do another one?
Wow, you think they're actually like doing that?
Well, it's different guilds. It's not the same guild.
Okay,
right?
okay.
Yeah, so like you got Guild A, they go in for their like, you know, weekly clear, and they wipe due to like, and some asshole pulling 4 horsemen, and then they have to rebuff, so they run out and rebuff, and then after they rebuff, like maybe another guild like does the same thing. Maybe they like have a bad saffron pull or something, and they end up wiping, and they need to rebuff, so then they like run out and do the rebuff. And then like now and you have like, and so then you have like somebody else that's having to do it, and then someone else is having to do it. Because I mean, if I've learned anything about this server, like nobody coordinates anything. So I mean, you'll have like a guild that's like getting ready to go out and rebuff, and then you might have another guild that like would say, man, it'd be great if we could like, you know, get out there and, you know, get the buffs too, but yeah, it's not gonna work that way.
Because they're not going to tell anybody.
Of course not. They're just going to run out there and do it right now. Because that's the correct thing to do. Is just run out there and do it right now. And don't tell a single person. Man, it's just like, hey, just run out there, like rebuff real quick, and okay, everybody's back in now.
Well, they have to coordinate a little bit because they have to get like on a tip jar to kill the guy.
Critical hits.
Don't they?
Unless somebody has like a horde priest, I guess. You might have like a horde priest in your guild. Maybe somebody has one. Otherwise, yeah, you're right. You'd have to get like on the tip jar guy to like kill the dude for you, so that way you can get the buff again.
Yeah, some of tip jars making some tips.
He's making them tips, I bet. I don't know who that guy is, dude, but man, he knows what's up. I would never even thought about doing that. Like, you basically, like, you make a horde priest, and their sole purpose is to, like, mind control that guy while, like, a bunch of alliance kill him.
Yeah.
I would never even thought about that, and that's basically like his entire purpose in the game. Like, you create a character just to do that, and you just park him outside of Stormwind, you know, relatively close, but far enough away to where you won't have to worry about ever dying or anything, like with guards. So you park your guy relatively close to Stormwind, and then that's it. That's what you do, man. You just basically like. You log into him every now and then, you mind control that guy, and then you tell all the alliance people, okay, go ahead and kill him. And then they kill him.
How does he get deep
right.
enough into Stormwind to mind control that guy?
Well, he's pretty close to the gates. I guess all he has to do is just kind of like go past the guards. So maybe he like fears the guard, and then he mind controls the guy or something like that. Not sure. But he doesn't have to get very far into the city in order to like actually do it. Because the guy that you turn the quest into, you know the gate, you know the bridge when you walk into Stormwind?
Yeah.
The guy that you have to mind control is on that bridge, so you don't have to walk very far.
So
yeah, you don't have to get very far
the guard, I don't think.
Yeah, like you might have to run past 1 or 2 guards, but that's it. And I think the guards are like level 55, so they're not actually like, you know, level 60 elites kill you dead. It's, you know, they would like hurt, but they're not going to kill you. And then you would like fear, I guess you just like slide in, fear the guards, then you could do your thing. And I might even be overthinking it, like you might not even have to like do that. Like the whole like deal where you like fear the guards, like you might be able to like get in a spot in Stormwind where there's no guards, and you could just log your character there and have him stand there all the time. As a horde, possibly. I mean, I don't know. Never done it before, but you might be able to do something like that. And if you can do that, then yeah, that's great. Like all you have to do is just log in, mind control him, and then like have all your alliance kill him. And then once he's dead, all right, your deed is done, man. You like log your guy out, and all right, till next time. That's all you would have to do is the horde priest. You don't even have to do anything else. You don't have to help kill him, participate at all. You just mind control the dude, wait until he dies, and then just like, hey, and log your guy out. And you're gonna have to, you know, trust that none of the alliance will kill you, which they're not. You're doing them a favor, so they're not gonna kill you.
Your inventory.
Hey, you think that?
I would. Well, even if they
every
kill
once
you,
in a while
it's
you'll
not
hear
the end of the
somebody,
world.
see somebody in like trade chat yelling, "So and so's killing the pre on a tip jar."
I remember people like did that at first until they realized like what was happening. It was kind of funny. Like at first, people were like, "Oh no, man, someone's attacking Stormwind. Let's all like get it. You know, let's all like get on that." That's what they were thinking at first, and then like they started to realize like, no, it's actually a good thing. So we shouldn't like kill the guy that's attacking Stormwind. He's actually doing us a favor. It's pretty funny. Okay, I'll tell you what my haul is here. You know, it's like, see, it's worth it or not. I got 4 greens that I could potentially use to level my shaman. I have 65 wool. I got 10 silk and 28 linen. So I got more wool than I got linen. That's good to know. Maybe I will have to run dead mines, because I need about 200 linen and 200 wool, so I might have to run dead mines. I've got 28 linen and about 65 wool, so if I do that about 3 more times, that'll give me 200 wool and 30, 60, 90, 120. I won't quite have enough linen, so I will have to do something else for linen. I mean, I guess I could take my, like, rogue and, like, go to, like, a low-level zone and just sit there and destroy things. I guess I could try that. Till I get all the linen that I want.
Critical hits. Critical hits. Critical hits. Critical hits. Critical hits.
Man, what's the play?
Oh, I ain't had much luck with the Dwarven Express Post. There's a thing in the game called the Dwarven Express Post, and what it is it has like a switch, and when you flip the switch, it pops up 3 chests. They're called chests of evil. And it either has like a really strong weapon in it, or like a creature you have to fight that's like really strong. And I ended up getting creatures out of all 3 of them.
It sucks.
Yeah, it's bust. Bust.
I'm guessing these are
Did get some
creatures you probably
experience
can't
out of it,
kill
though,
right now.
so there's that.
I'm guessing those are creatures that you probably can't kill.
Oh yeah, I used my dragon to kill them. I've done a different skill build this time than I normally do.
Oh.
And I'm playing like heavy magic. And one of the classes, or one of the skill sets, has a dragon that you get.
Okay.
And the dragon's like really tough. He can basically just clear out a monster zoo by himself.
Oh, it's awesome. You can sit there and just like solo shit. Like, you don't even have to get involved. They just handle it himself.
And if he like dies, you just resummon him. Because he's a summon.
Yeah, because he's like a summon dude, so doesn't matter. Sure, it takes like an ass load of mana to summon, but yeah, just summon him.
It doesn't take that much.
Okay.
Usually, by the time he's dead, you got all your mana back from the first time you summoned him. So.
Okay. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I like it. So I have like some decent gear for my like shaman after I do a few of these like stocks. Now I may, so you probably get more linen out of dead mines. Maybe I should do like a dead mines run.
Yeah, you
after
would get
this.
more linen out of dead mines.
Maybe I should do dead mines next, because I got a lot of wool out of stock, so maybe I should do dead mines after this and do like maybe a couple dead mines.
Well, do you need more linen?
Maybe. Yeah, I need about the same amount of linen and wool
Oh, I see.
in order to do tailoring, and I got about 2 to 1 wool over linen by doing stocks. So I'm gonna need to get more linen here at some point, and I'm figuring out like where it's gonna happen now. I had a couple ideas. I could either go open world grind. That was a thought that I had. That might be better than doing like a dungeon, possibly. It might be better for me just to focus on like going for linen, because once I get all of the wool that I need, I can focus on low level shit to get the linen, because I know I can get linen that way. Wool is difficult because the stuff that can drop wool can also drop linen. But once I get my wool in like the correct place, then I can just go after the low level shit for the linen and be done with it.
Right, that's true.
But I could also try running, what you call it? I could try doing dead mines too, though.
Critical hits.
Try pulling up guides, Google, and say like, where's the best place to get linen and where's the best place to get like wool.
Critical hits.
I didn't know. I didn't actually like pull up a guide. I'm just been kind of
Well,
like
I mean,
going
not,
by.
not a guide, but like a Google. Like do Google and say where's the best place to get
Google
this.
it.
And people will give you their
There's another
opinion.
Nixie head going out. Yeah, I might be able to do that. I think it kind of feels like it's opinion based, though, to me. 'Cause, I mean, also depends on what level you are. I mean, I could go to like a hyper spawn out in the open world and probably do pretty well.
How do those hyper spawns work? Because
So
I
the
remember
way it goes,
when we were doing the grind for scepter bearer or whatever it's called, or staff bearer, they was getting them like candles, and they said
So-
there was like a hyper spawn deal. Wow, that is a monster
Yeah.
room.
Critical hits.
Yeah, I can tell you how that goes. So, the way it goes you're never really going to notice this in a high level zone because you can't kill creatures fast enough. But in like a low level zone, so like Elwyn Forest or something like that, so there's like an actual mechanic in the game that says there has to be so many creatures up at the same time. And the reason is because of that very reason. Like if you go to a very low level zone, I could kill so quick, I could actually clear out the entire, like, you know, say somebody's doing like a quest for the Defies guys, right? So
Right.
if I run over there on my paladin and I run around the pumpkin patch and pull every single one of them, just kill them immediately, somebody that's trying to do that quest is going to be really pissed, because like there's no way that they're ever going to get any kills because I could just kill everything in like one hit. So Blizzard like realized that could be a problem. So what they did to fix it in the low level zones is they made it to where there at any point in time there has to be so many creatures alive. Like that's just the rule.
I got you.
So, like, say a good example I can think of is, you know, where you do the gnolls that's over by the Hodder, where you do the armbands.
Yeah.
There's like an armbands quest. So, like, there's all these little camps of gnolls that are over there. So, there's basically a rule that says, so there has to be at least, like, you know, 10 gnolls alive at any given point in time. So, like, let's say that you run over there and you, like, grab 2 or 3 like big camps of gnolls, and you just run over there and kill all of them as quick as you can. So after you kill every single gnoll in those 3 camps, it's going to force gnolls to spawn somewhere really close by. And that's the deal behind the hyper spawn, is like if you kill everything really quickly, then it's going to force something to spawn, and then you kill the thing that gets forced to spawn. Okay, after you kill it, it's going to force something else to spawn. You kill that, and then you just keep killing over and over again until you get your fill there. But that's what they were doing. Jesus Christ, how many times are we gonna get it, man?
Man, they're trying hard.
It's not very hard. So, what they were doing when we was trying to do that thing with the server deal, and they were needing to get those candles. So there's these like candles that drop from the kobolds, like it's called a magic candle. It does like 10 damage or something. It's nothing spectacular. So they were trying to get those things because the damage from that spell is done instantly, and it gets around the whole like spell batching problem.
Gotcha.
So they were trying to get those candles to do it, and so what they would do is they would purposely go inside of like a cave or a mine or something where there's a whole big bunch of like gnolls, and they just pull them all and kill everything really quickly. And then what would happen is the game would have to spawn more because of how it operates. So that way there would always be something up to kill. And you could you could really like rack up pretty quick if you do it correctly, because there's just always going to be something to kill, because that's like how the game was designed. So that way, I couldn't like go to a horde zone and sit there and kill like all the level 5 creatures in the horde zone and keep people from doing their quests. Like they kind of designed it to where you can't really do that, or at least it would be very challenging. Well, no, you can't do it at all, because after you kill everything, it's going to respawn something every time. So like if I was a horde and you was an alliance and you were like trying to jack with me, all I would have to do is just get on top of the spawn spot and just stand there until you like run around and kill everything, and then it's going to immediately respawn, and then I just tag it and you're wasting your time. But it works that way in all the zones, but you don't really notice it so much unless you're in like a really low-level zone, because normally you can't kill stuff that fast for it to actually be that big of a deal. Normally you'd never be able to kill stuff fast enough for it to actually make a difference. And they also learned the Death Coil, it didn't obey the spell batching mechanics either. So what I did on my Warlock was I sat over there and I just wheeled. Like with my Warlock, I put one of my attacks on my mouse wheel, and I just sit there and like spun that wheel as fast as it would go, because I've got a mouse that I can unlock the mouse wheel if I want to, and it like scrolls really, really fast. So that's what I did, was I like bound one of my attacks, Death Coil. I bound Death Coil to my mouse wheel, and then when like it was getting ready to spawn, I would hover over the like creature, and I would just like unlock the wheel on my mouse and just spin it like a fidget spinner, and I would just sit there and wait until it spawned, and then it would like hit it as soon as it was like humanly possible. And since that spell doesn't obey the spell batching, it would go off immediately. And long story short of it was like nobody could like actually beat me on tagging something unless they were doing the same thing I did. And if they were, then it's just a crapshoot. Because if they're doing the exact same thing I am, then okay, and may the best man win. But it was really fun. Man, I remember that. Man, it was actually kind of like fun to play. When we was like fighting with the entire server for trying to get some stupid bug parts. Yeah, the bug parts are real. But what I'd do is I would sit there and do that, and I'd get a tag from somebody, and usually the first time I did it, they would come back because they're thinking it's like a Bobby Roode flute. But then I'd do it like a second time and like a third time, and then after that they'd leave. Like after I got like 2 or 3 tags from them, they'd leave because they're like, well, man, this guy's like really good at tagging, so I'm just gonna leave and like try to go somewhere else. And we would like say the the sign of the V and like guild chat and be like, oh man, we got like another spot here where people gave up. So then we'd like we'd tell everybody else, and then like everybody would send in like in the people, and then we just take it over. Remember we had like almost the whole hive at the time. It was awesome. Handed access thing. Let's see how much I got this time. Running it this time, I have 74 wool, 27 linen, 8 silk, and 4 greens. Okay, so I got 70 the first time, 60 the second, that's 140, 130. So if I do it again, that should give me about 200 wool, which is pretty close to what I need, but it's not 100%. I usually like to get a little bit more than what the stupid guides tell you to, because they're not always 100% accurate.
Gotcha.
And sometimes you have to make yellow recipes too. So let's see, I got 60 the first go, 70 the second go. If I do it again, that will probably put me right at about 200. But I should probably do it a 4th time just to make sure. I got about 30 of linen cloth each time.
Why do you not go away from that?
What happened? If I do it 4 times, it's 30, 60, 90, 120 linen. So I should probably get 100 more linen after I do it 2 more times. So I might go to like a junk place on my road. Actually,
Whoa.
maybe my warlock would be a better play. You know what? I think that actually might be a good idea. Because my warlock's got that curse that like drains life off of everybody. So what I could do is just sit there and put the drain life thing on everybody while I run past them. And I could like take my health off. I could like life tap myself. Pull like 1,000 creatures and just let them die due to the dot damage. Okay, I like that idea. More stock strands. Man, there's so many people leveling up on this game.
What do you think's making so many people leveling? You think they're getting ready for Burning Crusade?
Yeah, everybody's getting their professionals going, man.
Yes.
That's what I think. I mean, unless you got new people on the server that like want to start up a new character, and I mean, sure, you're gonna have a few of those people, but I think people are doing the professionals, man. I think that's the way. I mean, I'm not gonna do it as much as everybody, but I mean, I will have my hunter and I will have a shaman, and they're both gonna be professionals in a way. So I'll be able to do it as well for 2 characters. So I'll have 2 characters that can tailor, assuming that I can actually like get the shit that I need for them. Because I imagine Netherweed Cloth is just going to be god-awful when it first comes out. Like, it's probably going to go for like 50 gold a stack when it first comes out, man. Yes. Because people are going to be trying to get their tailoring up, like, left and right. Yeah, like, every piece of cloth I get while I'm leveling is going to go towards my tailoring on my shaman. Like, I'll probably learn the like bandage, but I'm not gonna make any of them. I'm just gonna like straight up go tailoring. You'll probably get like a bunch of like cloth, because if I do the dungeon pounding, we'll kill like an ass load of humanoids. And if I get in like my preferred group, everybody's gonna be wanting to like do it, because everybody will. Oh wow! 7 nature damage. That actually might be useful. Yeah, I'm gonna keep that. It actually would increase my earth shocks damage. Yes, so the type of party I would like to get in would be having like a paladin as a tank, it would have a warlock, and it would have a mage, and then I would be the Ellie shaman.
Man, I could be your mage!
Yeah, sure could. And we'll have a healer, whoever that ends up being. That would be the type of group I'd like to get into, and if that's the case, all 3 of us are going to be tailoring, so we'll all be like fighting for cloth.
Yeah. Well, it's round robin, so.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying is, I mean, that there's not going to be an excess
that doesn't
of
need
cloth.
it, is what you're saying.
Right. That's what I'm trying to say. And it's not like there's going to be extra cloth to go around, because everybody in the party's going to need it, and you know, even if you did have extra cloth, you're just going to sell it on the auction house, because again, it's probably going for 50 gold a stack, because the server's so fucked up. $50 a stack. I wouldn't doubt it at all.
Man, you have to dig into my booze.
Shit. Man, super tight.
Yeah, they like, and they can actually, well, if enough people get on top of my like dragon, they can kill him. And he just space rolls. He'll jump in like right on top of 3 guys. So.
Oh, nice. That just handle it. That swing it. That's funny.
Yeah, that's what I do. And like a monster and pops up and go, "Mini monsters, handle it now!"
Yeah. At least I can get like the new job out of the way before like the Burning Crusade
Oh,
comes
so
out.
when do you
Like,
actually have to like go in for your training and miss raids?
it won't be next week, but it'll be the week after.
Week after?
And I'm not actually sure when I'm gonna be training. The guy that I got a 10 slot back. The guy that I've been talking with, the recruiter, she said that she wasn't sure about what my training was going to be now, because she originally said Friday would be like first day of training, but she's not sure about it now.
Gotcha.
So I'm like, okay, whatever, and I just don't care. Just whenever I go in for training, it's fine by me. My schedule might even be like jacked for the first however long it is while I'm training. Like I might have to be like purposely work a different schedule to like, set with somebody for a while.
Right.
Then eventually I'll work, the schedule they want me to. So I might even have to do that. I'm not sure.
I figured that's what you would have to do.
Yeah, I kind of thought so as well. That was my first thoughts. Was that I would have to work whoever's schedule they want me to set with until they get me trained. And if it so happens somebody works the same schedule I will be working, well that's all the better. But I don't know if that would work out, and even if it doesn't, it's not the end of the world. I mean, it doesn't matter what I work. While I'm training, at least, it doesn't matter what I work. So I kind of figured that's what would happen, but I'm not really sure. It's hasn't been too much discussion about that yet. The only thing that's really happened lately was the background check. That was something that we got started this week, was background check, and I'm pretty sure it's finished. They asked me for like some stuff, and I'm pretty sure that the background check is done now. I got a report back from them, so I mean, I'm assuming that's all they need. That's normally how it works, is like the background check, they like make a report. There's like a company that does it. That's how it worked when at GDIT, because I had to deal with that a lot. Not that I had a lot of background checks, but when we were hiring people, they explained to me like how the background check worked, because we were trying to figure out how long it took to hire people and stuff like that.
Gotcha.
And the gist of it goes kind of like this. We have like a company that does the background check for us, and what they do is they basically do a check, and then they send you a report when they get done. And the report basically like is to verify everything that like you told them. So like you put all this stuff on your resume, and then the background check people, they verify all that, and then they send a report back. And if they have any questions, or if they're questioning something, like let's say you put something on there that's not correct based on the report that they have, because they can pull your taxes, right? I'll tell you one example of what happened. I put on there that I worked for Maximus from 2010 to current, because I've been working for the contract in
Oh, but
2010.
they switched companies.
Yeah, so technically that wasn't correct, so they challenged me on that. And, I explained to them, I'm like, well, okay. I said, if you want to get technical, sure, I haven't worked for Maximus for 10 years. I said, I've been on the contract for 10 years. And, I said, well, we started with Vangent, then it switched to GDIT. And I said, I'd have to go back and look up those dates. I said, because I haven't the slightest idea when the contracts changed hands, because that's what I'd have to find. And they told me not to worry about it, because they said, well, we verified, you work for Maximus for however long it is, doing, your current job. And they're like, well, you work for like Max, or you work for Vangent, you work for GDIT, but that's back when you was like a rep. So they're like, well, this is the important part. We need to verify that you're like doing work for us, and you work for them currently, and it is indeed your current position. So they're like, well, that's the important part. Because I told them, I'm like, well, if you want me to go back and like get those dates, I said I could do it. I said it'd probably take some time, but I said I could probably do it. And they told me not to worry about it. So that's like an example of something that could come up on the background check that they want to verify, because it's technically wrong from what I said, and it's one of those things where there's probably a good logical explanation of why it's wrong, and I gotta ask, because they're like, well, this is wrong based on, we pulled like your taxes, and this is wrong. So, please explain.
Yeah. Well, if they pulled your taxes, they know what companies you worked for. So when you said, yeah, it was like GDIT, it was Vangent, they just like look down and they see that, yeah, you pay taxes to those companies.
Yeah, so then they're like, okay, yeah, that's fine. So then they let it go at that point.
Right.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, it's pretty much the gist of it. But they would give us a report back, is what the people that did the background checks, they basically would give us a report back, and the report would have everything on their resume, and then it would say this is what we verified, and then, it's basically the only purpose of the background check, in all honesty, is just to make sure you're not lying. They don't actually go back and try to catch you on things and stuff like that. It's just basically to prove you're not lying. Because if you have a felony on your on your record, for example, if you said it on the application that you had a felony, then okay, it's going to come back, and yes, you had a felony, and depending on what the felony was, they may or may not want to hire you, but they're trying to catch you at that. If you had not said that you didn't have a felony on your record and they went back and found one, yeah, you're not getting hired.
Yeah.
But, if you had said, yeah, I had a felony, they went back and found it, and, sure enough, you had a felony because, I don't know, you didn't pay a parking ticket or something like that.
That's
then they're
actually
like, yeah,
a
okay. Well, I don't know a good felony off the top of my head that's
armed robbery.
Nah, that's probably a bad one. I don't think I would hire that person.
Man, but he's reformed.
Yeah. I didn't get
Somebody's
much
gotta
more
hire
off
him.
that one.
Otherwise,
Okay.
how's he get a job?
Not me.
Not
I'm sure
me.
somebody will hire him. Yeah, I'm sure someone
And he gets
will.
to go work at the garage.
Yeah. I'm sure somebody will hire him eventually. But as long as it doesn't affect the job in any way, it's not necessarily a problem that you have a felony. It's just you don't want to be lying on your resume. So that's basically that was the purpose of a background check, is to make sure that you're not lying. And as long as you're not lying, okay, you're good to go.
guy. Yeah, dragon's buried a lot. Finish up this monster zoo. Man, finished everybody up with it. Oh, there's more monster zoo over to the side. It's like, that's another thing it can mess up on, is it can end up splitting up the monster zoos. Like, monster zoo is supposed to be like one big room that's like all monsters, and sometimes it gets split up into like 2 rooms. And if that's the case, it reveals the second room when you open the first one, and you have to like you have to clear both rooms. God, that's got like a ton more creatures. I guess we lost Kevin. Our like Discord sometimes messes up, and that was my nephew, by the way, is who I've been talking to. He'll be back in a little bit, though.
Sorry about that.
That's okay.
I got my phone plugged in now.
Oh, was that what happened? Your like phone went charged?
Yeah, my phone like died on me, so I had to like pick it up real quick. It's okay now, but yeah. Any rate, so I think I'm square on the background check. So at this point, all we have to do is just talk about like when I'm starting. So see how that breaks down. I gotta go get my stuff at work, so I'll have to actually go into the office or something.
So did you ever have to like have another battle with that that dude that wanted to give you a better offer?
No. I pretty much let it go.
Let it go after you said no?
Yeah. He did call me up and want to talk to me about it, and I just basically told him that. I'm like, I don't think there's any amount of money that you could offer me that would let me stay. Like, I just don't think it could happen. Because, I mean, at some point, like, I'd be getting more money than my boss, and I'm just like, okay. I said, well, how awkward is this going to be? Like, are you going to pay me more money than my boss? You're not. So unless you like pay my boss more money, I guess, you know, I'm kind of limited on how much I'm going to get here. But it's not really about the money, man. I think they're going to lose the contract.
Man, I hope they do.
I think they will. Like, I mean, I don't think there's really anybody bidding against them, so, I mean, they're probably not going to lose it. But at the same time, man, like, the problem is there's nothing that's gonna change on it. Like, I've been working there for long enough to realize that nothing will change, and that's like what hurts the most. Is just nothing's gonna change. So like, I could keep working up there if I wanted to, but nothing will change.
Yeah, you told me that.
There you have it. And either like I just keep working up there or I leave. My choice. But I mean, and it's just in the back of my mind. It's ever going to change. It will stay the same unless I get another job up there. But I mean, I could get a different job up there. I mean, I could go to a different department. Hell, I've done it before. But guess what? And as long as I'm still on that contract, it's still going to be the same.
Gotcha.
Nothing's changing. It's still the same song and dance, man. I still don't get to like control where I hire at. Now I still have somebody like that tells me, well, you need to hire 50 people here. So as long as that's the case, I mean, I'm not going to have any control over what I'm doing. And I mean, no matter how much I beg and plead to get off of like doing schedules, they're just not going to take me off of it. So yeah, this is the way.
Well, while you were gone, I thought I had cleared the monster room, and I killed the last monster, and it didn't give me the bonus for clearing it, and I was like, what's going on? And then I looked over and saw like it colors the map like a certain color for like a monster room, and I saw like that color over to the side in another area. And that's one of the things the game can mess up on, is the way a monster room is supposed to work is it's supposed to be one big room full of monsters. Alright, and sometimes what it does is it gets split up into two rooms, and when you open up the first room it reveals the second one, which could be like anywhere else in the dungeon, but you have to clear both rooms before you get the bonus.
Okay.
So that's what happened. And the first one was pretty big. So I got like two big monster rooms.
That's pretty cool.
Wonder if it's making up for that level I didn't get.
Maybe.
I might be overthinking it.
Yeah, random is random if you ask me. Random is random. Yeah, I'll miss some of the people that I work with, but that's about it. I'll miss the job or the contract any, so I guess I'll get to work with Calvin again, so that'll be pretty cool. I could get to work again, that'd be kind of cool too. Yeah. I could talk myself into it.
And $3 more is $3 more.
Yeah, well, money isn't really the thing, man. It's just like the job I'm doing sucks, and I don't like it.
I thought that's what you wanted to do, though, is you wanted to do workforce stuff.
Well, yeah, workforce stuff is great, but I don't have enough control to like fix the problem. They ask me to hire schedules, but they don't let me choose when to hire. They don't let me choose where to hire. They don't let me choose how many to hire. All they want is schedules. They're like, okay, man, just give me like this many schedules.
Right. Well,
and I'm like, oh, go ahead.
There's probably somebody that's in charge of doing that already.
Well, they're not good at it.
Okay. You could get that person's job.
They'd have to die first.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah,
That
because they're not
person's
quitting.
leaving?
They've been up there longer than I have. They're not going anywhere. The problem is they're not really good at it because some of our sites have specific site hours. So like, if they want to hire 50 people on one site, well, I can't. I can only give them a certain schedule because of the site hours. There's nothing I can do about it.
Right.
And if we don't need people at that schedule right now, then I don't want to hire them. But I don't have a choice because, well, I'm told you gotta hire 50 people at this site. And I could even push back and tell her, like, well, hey, we don't really need the schedule right now. Can we wait to hire them until a little bit later? And the answer I get is no. I hire them now. And then I get yelled at after.
I think I know what's going on. What's going on is they have to meet a certain quota of people at each site for the contract. I bet that when they bid the contract, they said, we're going to have this many people working the contract, and it might even break down by site. I don't know if it's so basically that's what the problem is she's saying, well, I got to have 50 more people at this site. Just do what you got to do.
Okay, well, in that case, it just sucks all around because I basically cannot do the correct thing based on what we're forced to do here. Like, if I have to hire 50 people here to meet some kind of a certain head count, then I can't do the correct thing. Or, what if we can change site hours? Like, okay, well, what if you allow me to change site hours?
Yeah, see, that's at a higher level than you or her, I'm sure.
Exactly. So we can't do that. So I can't change any site hours. So that's out of the question. So the problem is, we're just gonna get yelled at for things that are out of our control, and that's not a good feeling. Let's see, I got 60 and 70. That's about 130. I think I'm gonna run it one more time just to be safe. But yeah, it's not a good feeling at all because you just basically get yelled at for shit that's out of your control. Like, there's nothing I can do about it, but yeah, I have to take the yelling because, well, I'm the person that I'm the person that has the most control over it. But when I explain to them I don't have enough control to give you good results, well, they don't want to hear that. Oh well. Oh no, man, you gotta just do better. Like, I'm doing the best I can with what I have to work with.
Gotcha.
Well, yeah, but you gotta do better. And the people that are the people that are way up there, the ones that are making those decisions, the ones we talked about that are way over my head and even her head, the problem is those people don't understand our department well enough to know that what they're doing is wrong.
Oh, okay, I got you.
So, if we gotta have 1,000 people,
did you never have any of those things where a boss person comes in and has a round table and says, man, what's going on? What can we do better? What can we do?
I mean, that probably happens, but I'm in no way involved with it.
They had one for the tier 2s, and the district. Okay. It was the district. It wasn't it was the person Becky's boss. So her boss, some black lady, but it was Becky's boss, and she come rolling in. And she had a meeting with the tier 2s, and it was a what can we do better meeting. And some guy says, well, I don't understand where we go from here. He's like, where do we go from here? And she's like, I don't understand what you're saying. What are you saying? And I had to explain it to her. I was like, what he's saying is, we're tier 2 and we're stuck during tier 2. How do we get promoted?
Oh yeah. Yeah, how do you better yourself in this company?
Yeah, how do you get above tier 2?
Yeah, how do I keep going up?
Because basically we do everything. As a tier 2, I basically did everything.
Yeah.
I was like tier 2, all lines of business. So basically there was only like maybe 1 or 2 things that help you could do that I couldn't do. And that was it. Everything else, so basically, whenever calls come in, we would get calls like back to back, and the Gen Med people would be sitting there braiding each other's hair.
Well, and the help queue training, and that's another thing that frustrates you too, is because the help queue training, like, because I used to work with the trainers, and we used to have to schedule the trainings and stuff like that when I was in workforce, and so like they would tell me like what the help queue training involved, because I never knew, I never got that high. But the help queue training, all it is they show you how to use Radman, and they go over like how to defuse like difficult callers. That's the tier 2, that's the ISG training. That's it. That's all. Because they assume that, when you get to ISG, you know pretty much all the content. Like, there's nothing else for you to learn when it comes to content. So all they do is just show you how Radman works, and then they talk about like, well, it's, how do you defuse someone that's like really angry, because, you might run into someone that's like, decently angry, all the way up to like, fighting mad. And then, you can try to defuse them the best you can, but at this point they've already asked for supervisors, so man, there's not much more that you can do.
Alright.
So you can just try to cool them off, and that's basically all you can do. And that's what the training was basically like, and they showed you like, or they tried to talk about how you could cool people off, and they showed you how Radman works. And okay, hey, now you're ISG. So I could understand like how you guys would get like frustrated that like, you're not, the only thing from here is ISG, and there's like not any ISG classes that's been happening, and you feel like, well, there's just nowhere else for me to go, because they won't do an ISG class. And even if they did an ISG class, it's again, all they do is show me how to like, they basically show you how to do Radman. Oh, and it's a pay raise too. They give you like $1 on the hour. They show you how to use Radman, and then they like talk about like diffusing like, difficult callers, and that's basically the training. Especially somebody like you, where you're already handling every single type of call there is. So you know that you could be an ISG, but they won't offer you the training.
Right.
So yeah, that would suck. Tear dynamite. Oh, I've already know that.
I think I'm going to gain 2 levels on this monster suit.
Nice.
Need more mana.
And the amount of wool that you get in stocks is like not very consistent.
Well, stocks is a short dungeon.
Yeah, it's true. Maybe it would be more consistent if you did a lot. Well, I've ran it 5 times, so like sometimes I get 60 claw, sometimes I get like 30. So there's a little bit of randomness in there. I wonder if Dead Mines would be in it. Well, Dead Mines is a longer dungeon. So you tell me, like, are you better off running like a short dungeon and resetting it multiple times, or running a long dungeon and not having to reset it as much? Or does it even make any difference?
I don't know.
I think I'll have enough wool after this run, and then what I'll do is I was gonna grab like 100 linen from. I'll try to get like a hyperspawn thing going, like a cobalt candle dudes, and I'll try to get like 100 linen cloth that way. And I think that'll probably be enough to get me past that stage of the like tailoring. I might need to get a little more leather or I might need to get a little more wool, but I will count it up after I finish this dungeon. I'll send everything over to my storage dude, and then I'll count it up when everything like settles, and I'll see if I need any more. But I think I'll be pretty much okay. Especially if I can get like, you know, a good amount of like wool this go around. If I can get like 60 wool, then yeah, I'm definitely confident that I got enough. But no, to answer your question, we never had like meetings like that. Well, actually, I take it back. So I'm not involved in it, but my boss goes to a recruiting meeting every year where they basically talk about all the things they did wrong and how much better it's going to be the next year. And that's just what happens. Like every year, that he just like goes to a meeting where, man, let's talk about everything we did wrong. Let's talk about what we're going to do better next year. And all right, man, it's totally going to be better next year. And guess what? And we've been doing that for about 3 years now. So, and I know how this story ends, okay? It doesn't get better. And we do the same thing we did last year. And then what really pisses me off is I put like all this work and effort into making the schedules, and then like the leadership people, the people I told you about that don't understand what's happening, they get in there and be like, well, we need more of this schedule, so we're just going to change that. And
that's awesome.
I can clearly explain to them why, like, you know, why my method is correct, but they just don't care. They don't want to hear it, and they're just like, well, and change it because we're telling you to. Okay. So when I first started doing it, like, I just didn't care, and I'm like, okay, whatever, dude, you're paying me, I don't care. But like, man, it's been starting to bother me over the years, like, and the fact that like I have no control over this, and basically I'm just told to do something, and you're like, all right, man, as long as you're doing this, you're not going to get in trouble. And I'm like, well, okay, yeah, but I mean, I still don't think they're right. And man, I think we should be doing it differently.
And did you tell that boss guy that when he was talking to you?
Yeah, but again, there's nothing we can do about it. The people that make those decisions is outside of the scope of our department. Gotcha. So, like, it would be like telling training, like, well, we think you should do this because, and it's a better way to do it. Okay, well, training doesn't have to listen to a damn word we say because it's a completely different department.
Right.
I mean, granted, if they were nice, they would at least like take our suggestion and think about it, or at least consider it. But they don't have to listen to a damn word we say because it's a completely different department. And sometimes they would, you know, pay attention to what we're saying and want to try to work with us. And other times they just tell us to go jump in a lake because they're like, well, let's see here. You're not my boss, so I don't have to do that. Thank you, sir. Have a nice day.
That's awesome.
Yeah. But just gets frustrating after a while. yeah, hopefully it'll be better at the new company. And I guess even if it's a lot more of the same, and at least I'll be getting more money, and I'll get free cable. So that's that.
Oh, are you actually gonna get free cable?
I think so. I haven't got the details of it yet. I'm not working there, but they have like a base package that you get just by working for the company, and so you'll get that free.
I
So
got you.
it's probably like cable and internet, I guess, maybe phone. I don't care about the phone, but so
Probably
you
get
got
free
like a
channels.
yeah. Oh yeah, it probably doesn't come with like all the premium channels or anything like that. It just probably comes with like, your typical basic cable, I would assume. And that's free just based on the fact that I work for the company. And then, if you want more, you could probably pay like an additional fee, like maybe I pay another $20 and I get another 100 channels or something like that. I don't know.
Man, you know what Alan's gonna want you to do? He's gonna want you to pay more, get more channels.
Yeah, he's gonna want the one that's free. Pretty sure.
Oh, really? Why would he care?
I don't know.
He doesn't have to pay any money. It looks like he'd want a lot more channels.
Well, I mean, he could pay for whatever he wants to get. And if he don't want to pay anything, I guess he'll take the free.
Take the free.
Yeah, I mean, as long as it's like broadband internet and like TV cable, I don't need to go any deeper than that, personally. I mean, some people might want like faster internet, but I mean, hell, the internet I got right now is fast enough. And I can sit here and like play my game. Dad can watch something on Netflix, and Mom can like goof with her iPad all at the same time, and we don't have the problem in the world with the internet. So
That's pretty strong.
yeah, it's plenty fast enough right now. So I mean, if they offer it to be faster for a price, I probably won't take it. If they offer more channels, I mean, I might look at them and like actually decide, well, is this like a channel I would ever watch? Man, am I going to get like 24 hours of court TV? Man, I gotta have that. I mean, I gotta have the premium court package. Now I even get like court cases from different countries. Hey, it's got like subtitles down at the bottom.
And it's all the same thing. It's the same thing. It's like us used car salesmen that like told a bunch of lies, and they're saying, "Can you prove he lied?" No. I ain't case dismissed.
All right, hey, that's good. Yeah, it's just in like Spanish, but it's the exact same concept. It's some guy like sells somebody a used car. It's like, okay, man, and he told me all these things, and the judge is like, okay, so can you prove he said any of those things? Well, no. So then he looks at the used car guy and says, did you say any of those things? And the used car guy just has like a grin on his face, and he's like, nope, I didn't say any of them things, Judge. And the judge is like, well, alright. Yeah, I guess we're finding in favor of the defendant. Case dismissed. So, man, you have the burden of proof since you're the plaintiff, and you can't prove any of this, so, alright. And that's game. That's what happened. The judge gets up and says, alright, that's game. And then, bangs the gavel, and everybody's like, leaves. And then after that, it's like 15 minutes of the plaintiff just like cussing and like punching a wall. Because, yep.
Oh, they do like the little thing at the end where they like talk to each person and ask them what they think about what happened.
Yeah, and then like the plaintiff is just like so mad they're just punching the wall and like cussing every breath, and like there's nothing they can do about it. So, man, I still think it's fair, man. I still think justice was served today. Ooh. Ooh. I pulled a blue in here.
Like pull blue?
Yeah, I pulled it's called Twisted Chanter's Staff.
I think that might be good.
That is very good.
What's it say it's worth on the auction house?
It doesn't matter because I shaman's using that.
Oh, okay. Well, all you have to do is hover over it, and it'll tell you. Oh, wait a minute. Do you have?
I've got auctioneer.
No, auctioneer don't do it. You gotta have a trade skill master.
Oh, trade skill master. Never downloaded that. Is it pretty good?
It is good. Keeps you up to date on all your auctions.
Might get that. I never.
Now, I don't use it as much in Classic, but I used it a lot in retail. Is what it'll actually do is if you have like a recipe, it constantly monitors the like auction house offline. So while you're online, it monitors like the auction house, and you have to download. You have to like create an account, and you download like some software, and it works in the background, and it like basically like it monitors the auction house in the background, and transfers that over to like WoW. So you always have your most up-to-date stuff. You don't ever have to do any scans.
Yeah. Okay, and you don't even have to log into the game either. Like it just constantly updates itself. It's kind of cool.
And what it'll do is, based on that, it will create a value for like an item that you can like make with your trade skills. So you like if you go into the UI for Trade Skill Master on your trade skill screen, instead of the Warcraft UI, what it'll do is it'll have a like the item that you want to make, and then off to the side it'll have an amount that it'll tell you how much it takes to make the item, and it'll tell you how much you can make by selling it.
Nice. It sounds
so
pretty cool.
I use that quite a bit in retail before I quit playing.
Yeah, I could see that being pretty important. I don't really use the auction house that much, but I guess if I wanted to try to actually sell stuff on it, I should probably get something.
Yeah. You can when you download the thing to your desktop, it sets up for both classic and retail.
Oh, nice. Okay. That way you can do both.
Yeah, you can do both.
No, typically what I do is and when I'm farming something, I farm it for myself. I don't like farm it to sell. I don't really do that. But that is a really nice stuff. It's a level 19. I think that's a twink weapon, actually.
That's what I was thinking. It was a twink item.
Yeah, it's a level 19 weapon. I think it's a twink weapon. Yeah. I could probably use that all the way to 30. To be honest with you. It's not quite as good as the Staff of Stormwind. Or the Staff... I still got that on my no, I guess I sold it. I don't think it's as good as the Staff of Westfall, but I think it's very close.
Critical hits. Critical hits.
Not 100% sure off the top of my head, but I think the Staff of Westfall is actually better. But it is a contender, absolutely. In fact, what I could probably do is I could probably take the chest instead. There's a leather chest that you can get for doing that quest inside of dead mines. I could probably take that chest instead of the weapon and use this one. It's very good. You have to use it at 19 too. Let's give it a rest. So like when you go in front of stocks, people just beg you to like run them through it.
Really?
Yes. They're like, they'll give you 3 gold, please God, run me through. That's
3
ignoring.
gold?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I ain't wasting my time for 3 gold. Tell them I'm dungeon cat. Now I'm gonna try something with my warlock. So I had an idea that could work.
Critical hits. Critical hits.
I'm not actually sure where I can go to start up a hyperspawn situation, but I guess I will try to figure that.
Might be able to Google it.
Yeah, maybe. I just need humanoids. So,
Critical hits.
Oh, the Kobold Mine. Maybe that would be a good place.
Well, did you say there was a hyperspawn there, and they used that to get the candles?
Yeah, I think so. I think they went to the Jasper Mine. That's that mine that nobody ever goes to. I was thinking about the one where you go for gold dust. I was thinking that might work. Or maybe, you know what? Actually, the Null camps. Let me try that. I'm not sure. There's a lot of Nulls over there. The dudes that drop the armbands. That might be like a way that I could go. Is I want stuff that's like clustered up really tight. What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna put siphon light on everybody, and I'm just gonna keep pulling. Like I'm just gonna like pull, and like everything's gonna surround me, and they're never gonna kill me because I'm so high level. And all that life that I'm bringing in, I'm just gonna life tap myself to get mana back. I'm gonna try it if it works. Yeah, better be careful not to pull harder.
Critical hits.
Why? try to do something in the open world, it's just impossible in this game. Just don't bother. That's my like recommendation, man. If you're like, man, I want to do such and such, I'm like, well, is it in the open world? Then don't bother.
Critical hits.
It's because at like any given time, there's 1,000 people playing this game. I keep forgetting that. And fuck this server.
Critical hits.
Man, our server's strong.
It's the worst server ever.
Critical hits.
It's just gonna crash. Like you won't be able to play on this server for like a week.
I guarantee it'll crash the first night of TBC.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's like a given.
Absolutely. Like I think the main server is gonna like crash immediately, and I even think it's gonna go so far as the like dungeon server, because there's like a separate server for the dungeons, and I think that's gonna crash. Like I think the dungeon server is gonna crash. Like you're gonna have people that are gonna be trying to like play on the dungeon server, because everybody's gonna be like, you know, oh, hold on now, you know, I know what the deal is here, man. Like you're not gonna be able to like play in the open world, so I'm gonna do dungeons. And I think there's gonna be so many people doing dungeons, it's gonna crash the dungeon server.
Wow.
And everybody's just gonna be like, it's just shrugging their shoulders, being like, I don't know what to do. Like, how do I play the game right now? I got an idea. I can go to that lake over there. Nobody ever goes over there for anything. There's a paladin class quest over there. Or I could try to go to the Jasper mine. Nobody ever goes to the Jasper mine. You have to explore it, and you don't have to do anything. You just have to explore the mine. So maybe that's something I can try. I'll give it a shot. Okay, Jasper mine. I guess now I gotta see like how quick they're gonna respawn. Oh, there's actually spiders back here. Oh, look at that.
Critical hit. Critical hits. Critical.
There's a rare spider. It's the end of the Jasper Load.
Hits.
Oh, neat.
Go kill her.
Today's probably up, because I mean nobody actually like.
Oh, where goes there?
Critical hits.
Yeah, he's probably up.
Critical hits. Critical hits. Critical hits.
Wish I knew where there was a place where I could get like a hyper spawn going. Oh, wait a second. This might be it right here. Not being a hypersonic situation.
Critical hit.
Take a lot of land cloth, man. Go for it.
Critical hit.
These are the dudes that drops the cobalt candles.
Right.
Critical hit.
And I remember that was something that I did on our server, all those way back when.
Critical hit. Critical hit. Critical hit. Critical hit. Critical hit.
Wow, I'm actually running out of mana. I'm having to dot so much. That's awesome.
Yeah, you can just tap it out.
Yeah, I'm trying that, but my health isn't coming back the way I would like it to.
Critical.
This is it. This is a hyper spawn. Okay. Or yeah, I thought it was. Yeah, okay. Maybe the jury's still out.
Critical hit.
Looking at treasure.
Critical hit.
Yeah, jury's still out.
Gotcha.
Critical hit.
I'm still looking for like a place where I can just get like a lot of linen, but so far, I'm looking out.
Oh, I know.
Okay.
I don't know. It's been a while. Probably been a while since you like played a rogue. But there's a rogue quest that has you go into this little little house, and it's in the Elwyn Forest. And what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to go in and pickpocket a dude and not fight anything. Alright. Because what happens is like if you like get caught by that dude, like 6 dudes roll in and like gangbang you. So there's always gonna be those like 6 guys like rolling. So I bet you can like kill them, and I bet you can keep that going.
Okay. Try that.
Critical hit.
I don't remember doing that quest.
You don't remember doing that quest?
Mm-mm. I mean, I remember
It
doing
was
the
like
tower,
first,
but that was
like,
in Westfall.
first class quest you got for Rogue.
I mean, the tower quest in Westfall. I
No,
remember
it's
doing
in
that.
Elwyn Forest.
Huh.
Critical hit.
It's the very first one you
No,
get.
it's not coming to my
You have to
mind.
like pickpocket a dude.
It's not coming to mind right now.
Alright.
Do you remember who you had to pickpocket?
He's in this building, on the lake. You know how there's like a lake that borders like Duskwood and Elwyn?
Yeah.
Okay, if you go all the way to the south where that lake is, and you go to the right, keep going to the right, and there's like a building that's on like a little like It's like a it's like right there on the edge of the lake, and he's in that building.
Is it more towards Red Ridge or more towards Westfall?
It's more toward Red Ridge.
I guess I must have missed that one then.
I don't say you cannot do it. I thought you had to do it to like get something.
What do you learn? Do you get anything important for doing it?
I don't know. I know you had to pickpocket him, so I thought it had something to do with pickpocketing, but since you have to pickpocket him to complete the quest, you wouldn't learn that. I don't know.
Well, I remember doing the tower in Westfall. That's the only thing.
Well, it's not the tower in Westfall.
Okay. I don't remember it then.
You had to pick up the quest in, like, Stormwind, so you probably missed it.
Yeah, I didn't go there. Well, I did like 5 quests on my rogue the entire time I was leveling too. So
Oh, okay.
I probably missed it unless it was like if it was a class quest.
It was a class quest.
Well, you said it was a class quest.
It is a class quest. But
It's not specific to a certain race, is it?
no.
I found that hyper spawn though.
Oh, you did find the
I thought it was,
hyperspawn?
yeah, I thought it was just a camp. It's not just the camp. You have to kill everything that's around the mine. So there's this mine, and if you kill everything that's around the mine, that's the key. You kill the camp, of course, because the camp is here. But you also have to kill everything that's around the mine. You kill everything, and yeah, it actually works. And I'm actually gonna have to like dig into my like health here a little bit more. Yeah, this is working. Except I'm limited by my mana. Maybe if I downrank my something enough, maybe that would. Because right now it's costing me too much mana. I wonder if we're better off running dredmor.
Critical hit.
Yeah, as soon as one of them dies, another one has to respawn. It's like the rule. Yeah, you could like tear this up if you had like a second person with you. Because what you could do is you guys could stand on like the areas where they're going to spawn. So like I could take one side, you could take the other. And then we could just sit there and kill as quick as we can, and as soon as like one of them dies on my side, it might spawn on your side, but that's fine because you're right there to kill it.
Gotcha.
And then we could just sit there and just bang it out. I'm losing a little bit of efficiency because I'm having to kind of go back and forth looking for the creatures.
How'd you like my new water?
I'm glad you have it. Man, what made you change your mind?
Some guy like asked me for water, and I, of course, I gave him my crap water, and he just straight canceled trade. And I whispered him back, says, "Well, is my water not good enough for you?" And he's like, answer was no.
Nope.
And I was like the one that broke me there. I says, he like offered to like help me get the water. And I told him, I said, well, I'll ask after the raid and see if anyone wants to like help, because I was getting tired of like people like canceling trade with me when they see I don't have the good water.
Well, I don't know why you wouldn't do it. I mean, seriously, dude, we were right there and you refused to take the quest.
I don't remember ever being there.
We did Dharma like 2 or 3 times getting gear. You had like 2 or 3 drops over there that you were chasing. I remember we literally killed that boss, and I told you to get that quest beforehand, and you wouldn't do it. You're like, well, I ain't doing that. Remember, that's how stubborn you are.
I guess.
Yeah, I guess so too.
I was thinking
I
that they
remember
came
we,
out
like,
with the
cleared
water
that
in
dungeon.
like a second patch after they like released Dharma.
It was during the Dharma patch because it wasn't.
They also
Dharma
did.
wasn't available.
Now wait a minute. They did a Dharma, all right, but then later on they like did some stuff that like released some like stuff, some quests for like what's that one shit dungeon that no one runs? It's over there in the swamp.
Oh, the Sunken Temple?
Yeah. They released some lots of quests for like Sunken Temple, and I think that's when they released it. I don't think you could do.
They did everything all at once, I believe.
I don't think so.
I think.
Because I think that's why. Because I would have done it if we could have done it when we were actually running it.
You refused to do it. I remember that.
Okay.
I remember it clear as day. You refused to do it. Because they did that. Dharma come out with all those class quests because I had to go over there and run it to like get my mount for my class, like the Paladin mount quest. I had to run Dharma east because I needed to get the keep west, and I remember I brought you along. And I remember there was people in the guild that was doing that quest to get the better water. And I said, yeah, man, you should get that too. And you're like, nope, I ain't doing that. Man, I'm getting tired of people asking me to trade them water. I'm not doing that.
Okay. Maybe that's what it was then. Maybe I didn't want people to trade water with me.
I think that was it. So you just didn't do it. And I'm like, I said, just put the quest in your log. Yeah, I remember that. I remember telling you because you had to kill like a water elemental. He was the first boss in there, and I said, we're gonna kill that boss because the way that dungeon works is you have to kill all the bosses in order to open up the final area. So I said, we are going to kill that boss. I said, all you have to do is have the quest in your log, and you wouldn't take it. You're like, nope, I ain't taking it.
Well, I got it now, so.
Yeah, there we go. And that's good. You won't have to worry about that in the Burning Crusade.
Did they do a mage table on the Burning Crusade?
Yes.
Oh, yes. That's what I'm all about. Letting someone else do a mage table.
Yeah, that was when they come up with the idea behind the mage table.
Because it only takes one.
So, yeah. Yeah, so you'll be fine in Burning Crusade.
One of them tryhards threw out like a mage table.
You have to be a certain level to learn it, I think, but eventually you'll get it.
I think I completed this level.
And you get, I think that's also when the warlocks get the soul stone well, I believe. Which is a pretty cool thing.
I might actually like take a soul stone, or not a soul stone, a cookie
Or,
wheel.
yeah, yeah, health stone. That's what I meant to say.
Health stone. I might actually take a health stone then. The only time
I'll
I
take
take a
one for
health
Loco.
stone is when I have to for like for that one boss. That one boss where you basically die if you don't have a health stone.
Yeah, it's about the truth. Yeah, that's when I take one too. Oddly enough.
And the rest of the time, I'm like, no thank you, sir. I'm good with what I am.
Yeah. The light whale. Wonder if I think that was in TPC. It might even be in the game right now. Or maybe I don't know if it's in the game yet. Actually, it might be. I know nobody takes it because nobody actually uses it, but I always think it's funny.
Critical hits.
Lightweight. They made some pretty good changes, though. They also made it to where the Paladin Blessings are 30 minutes instead of 15, so that's like a godsend.
That'll make your life easier.
Absolutely. Makes it a lot easier. I think they're 15 minutes if you cast the Lesser Blessing, and then they're 30 if you cast the Greater. It makes it a lot easier. Because, man, like, 15-minute blessings kind of suck.
Or they're now 5 and 15.
Yeah. So if you cast like just the regular one, it's 5 minutes. If you cast a greater blessing, it's 15. And 15 minutes is enough to get us through just about any boss fight in the game, but that's about it. Like, you basically have to recast it before every boss, like when we're doing next. That's basically what I have to do, is I've got to recast it like every boss. Usually, like, we can do like boss, and then we'll do some trash, and then before the next boss, I'll have to recast, Salvation is the one they usually have me do, and I have to recast it before like every boss, basically.
Critical hits.
Because what'll happen is, like, there might be 5 minutes left on it, which 5 minutes is plenty of time, but that might not be long enough to actually kill the boss. So if that's the situation where, like, it's going to take us 6 or 7 minutes to kill the boss, then we'll have to recast it, because if Salvation runs out in the middle of the fight, I'll just have to recast it then. And I don't want to have to recast it in the fight because I'm going to be busy healing, so yeah, just make sure I buy a lot of symbols.
Oh wow! Now when do they get rid of them stupid symbols?
Probably
That's
not
why
for a
I quit
while.
doing like my buff. And I haven't like bought symbols for my buff, and I can't remember how long. I just let everybody else
Not sure when
buff.
they get rid of that.
If I have to break down and buff somebody, I buff individually.
Wow. I'm not sure when they get rid of that.
Critical hits.
Yeah, fortunately, shamans don't have buffs, so don't have to worry about that. They do have those little the little things to come back to life. I forget what they're
Oh
called,
yeah.
but you have to buy them. But I think they stack in like 20s, so you can buy like 20 of them.
Hits.
Yeah, and you probably don't come back to life that often.
I was gonna say, I mean, the only time I ever use it is
Critical hits.
but everything else, you don't have to worry about as a shaman. Like you put out all your little totems, and those are the buffs that you give people as your totems. But the totem is like something that you just put out on the field. You don't have to like cast it on people. You just like put it out there, and then people have to like get close to it. I think it expires after like 2 minutes or something like that. But I was actually going through the different abilities for shamans today because I was trying to like figure out my loadouts a little bit. Because one of the things I was tempted to do is just take a shaman up to like the max level right now, just to see what all abilities they're going to get and like try to figure out what I'm going to use. What now?
Man, I can't believe